The first point is start with the right components. Or as I used to be with American Express, and the executive vice president of marketing used to say, you can't make chicken salad out of chicken. And that's one of the things we see all the time is companies selecting the wrong equipment or the wrong components. And I've got some examples here. And some are obvious and some are not so obvious. So clearly, you know, a Briggs and Stratton engine versus a Honda engine, or one of these Chinese knockoff engines versus a Honda engine. Honda engine is going to cost you more, but it's always going to start. If you put oil and gas in it, it's always going to start. You can always find parts. Whereas if you buy a knockoff engine, you might save $100 or $200 up front, but you're going to spend 3 days looking for parts for the thing. Okay, that's an easy one. That's obvious, and that's something everyone looks for. But there are other ones that aren't so obvious. We see lots of guys going and buying cheapo backpacks that wear out in 90 days, and you can't fix them. You just got to throw them away. Versus a quality one. We like the Birchmeyer, but use whatever one you want. But my suggestion is get a good one. And here's a close-up. You can see the spray wand on the cheapo one is just a cheap piece of plastic junk, whereas the Birchmeyer is brass. It's completely rebuildable. And my suggestion is buy equipment that you can service so that you're not down or you're not having to go buy it again. Now, there is one exception. If your company and your technicians don't take care of your stuff and you're going to trash it anyway, then use a cheap one, because you're better off trashing a cheap one, throwing it away, and buying another one in 90 days than trashing a good one. But clearly, starting with quality equipment will reduce your downtime and reduce your problems and will be cheaper in the long run. Okay, let's get into some really cool examples. This is a 200-gallon weed control spray trailer, and I was called to a large city in Arizona called us and said, hey, we're having a problem. We bought 3 of these 200-gallon weed spray trailers, and we're getting 60 or 90 days out of the pump. What's wrong? Can you come look at it for us? So it took me about 5 seconds to realize they had bought the wrong pump. This is a roller pump, and there's 3 grades of roller pump. This is the lowest grade of roller pump that can only handle water. You start pumping herbicides through this thing, it's going to wear out in 60 days, and that's what was happening. And what happened here was this municipality went low bid. They got 20 bids, picked the cheapest one, and the company that won put this, I'll say it's the wrong pump. I won't say it's a junky pump. It's for water, it's fine, but for herbicides, it's terrible. And in order to save money, they bought the wrong pump, and it cost them a ton of money because A, they were down all the time, and B, they had to keep buying pumps, okay? The other thing, and this is hard to see, but if you look at this trailer, you see this reinforcing component here on the nose of this trailer. I wish I had a bigger picture here, but you can see it's underneath. It's welded on the bottom of this triangle, okay? So that means it's only welded on the top side. It really should be, if it was at the same level and welded all the way around it on both sides, it would be much stronger. If this thing gets in an accident or hits a bad bump, that's just not going to hold. It's a cheap way to do it, and that's what happens when you go low bid.